how they say it in our language, pita is eagle. The feathers on that staff, as when I was coming down and all those people were walking with me, whoever was walking with me. Today, we're pronouncing to them that we will never forget that all these bodies, these little children's bodies at the Chemawa graveyard, all the way to Kyle graveyard, we will never forget. And some of those little bodies have never been acknowledged. All they want is to be acknowledged and to be taken care of in a good way. That's all they want. Because they were just little children. It's like this little silhouette that you see right here. She's a 5-year-old. You should come up and look at this. All they want is acknowledgement. And what they also want is, I'll just say to you, is they want you to stand up and be Indian. They don't want you to be anything else. Because as long as if you've got a drop of Indian blood in you, and if you walk a different way, you're the walking dead. You will not know who you are until you pick up your Indianness. And so in my forgiveness journey here, I had to go and visit some Maori people. Once, and I was really asking them, because they're bringing back their culture and their healing, and I asked them, I said, do you have any requests when I come to your land? And Deidre Nahula, who was married to Sid Jackson, who is the descendant of the real whale rider, this is what she said to me. She said, you're going to come and you're going to speak to our elders. So the only request we have is that you dress like your ancestors and not like your oppressors. So, yeah, you guys, it's time to show up as an Indian, whatever that is, whatever your tribe is, and to think like an Indian. Tecumseh, one of my heroes I grew up with, said that no matter what you do it not just for your tribe, but all of the Indians. All of the Indians. So, Tecumseh, I want you to think about something as we travel, as this goes across, and Obama's going to give us more than an apology. He's going to settle the cabal case. You don't realize what he's going to do in these next 4 years. You know why? Because we're going to help him. As I stand here before you, mark these words from 4 years from now, you see what has happened with the Indian nation. 2012 is upon us. We will renew and we will regain. The Hopi prophecies are upon us. All of the prophecies are happening now. We are part of the prophecies. We don't have to wait anymore for government stuff. We do it. It's us. We're the change. And so I think about this and this forgiveness, because I was coming here and I was saying my prayers. All of our efforts have to be with the tribes, the big land-based tribes. And the tribes that have secure treaties that don't have loophole language. Because those will be our strongest warriors that will help all of the other tribes. And so that's where we began, part of our forgiveness, and I love, and Horace, when you went looking for your dad. And when you totally accepted him as he was. That's us. That's a good example of us accepting what is and what is going on with our people, why these children are buried in these graveyards. But once we have accepted that, then it's time that we show up as an adult. That we show up sober, that we show up clean, that we show up with a clear heart, and then we walk our talk, we walk our program. It's time that we show up, and it's time that we bring to the table some of the solution. You know, and so what I'm asking you to do is, you know, is to be with us, to be part of us, you know, to be part of this whole effort, because it doesn't matter numbers right now. It's a spiritual effort. And all of our ancestors and all those people that were walking with us with that hope and all that are right here, we're going to see things in these next 40 days of going to Carlisle. We're going to see things that we didn't believe were possible. So I thank you very much.
That little silhouette that you see is one that we carried on the journey that we ran across the United States. This little one here, this will be her second journey. We want her to be present at all places. So I'm going to read the story of Brandy Joe, age 5. December 22nd, 1991, in Cheyenne. Brandy was murdered when she tried to intervene in a fight between her mother and her mother's boyfriend, Mark Barnes, age 36. Mark struck Brandy, then kicked her into the bedroom. Brandy attempted to go for help. Mark caught her outside, knocked her down, and kicked her in the head twice. He left her out in the yard. Later that night, she died. Her body was wrapped in a blanket and hidden for a week before he set fire to the house. He was convicted of second-degree murder and arson, sentenced to 30 to 25 years and 5 to 7 years for arson. I visited the gravesite yesterday. And it's really good that you can say things like this, because the Indians are here. But I was visited by those little spirits last night. And like you were saying, they want to be acknowledged. And just thank you for coming here to acknowledge that. Because of the results of the trauma and things, we have hundreds of our children are killed as a result of domestic violence. Thousands of our women are hurt by domestic violence. We men have to really pay attention to what is going on. The warriors have to come back. We would never tolerate that in the old camps. We wouldn't let no one inside do it, and we watched our camps on the outside. No outsiders came into our camps to hurt our women or our children. And that's why we're going to talk about this forgiveness. And so we carry her for us all to be aware of our children. That's why we are doing all of this. It's the crying that we need to do and the healing that we need to do ourselves so that there's no more of this. I'll be visiting a community after the journey in which they had 200 documented suicide attempts of teenagers. Something's really, really wrong. And it's tied to that trauma when our own native researchers, they were very hard, got the education, kept her culture, and she was able to connect. What happened in some of these boarding schools is connected directly to the suicide that's going on today. We know that's going on. It's connected to the violence that's going on. Except we're in a generation that doesn't remember how it started. How did that root start? The sexual abuse that went on in some of the boarding schools. So we are in a generation now where it's this idea whose time has come. Those ancestors are all around. We've seen them at the conference in Minneapolis. You could feel them. And I think this saying, it says there's an idea of this time has come. I think the Creator will only let something go out of balance for so long.